guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you so much for joining me. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Emma. I am a 40-something midwife, mum of two, married, living in Cheshire, and this is my little corner of YouTube. Normally I am throwing myself around the bedroom, not like that, with sort of trying clothes on, and I buy the majority of my clothes from charity shops, and I love sort of styling things up for you guys. As you can imagine, the charity shops are closed, so I've lost my hobby. I don't know what to do with myself. So I'm having to kind of come up with other things to do on YouTube. This is only my second video since we've gone into lockdown in 7 weeks, so I do apologise. I hit 6,000 subscribers the other day, so even though I've not been uploading, obviously people are watching my old videos, and I'm really, really grateful for that, so thank you so much. If you are new and you've subscribed lately, if you are old and you've been with me from the beginning, then thank you so much for coming back. So I asked over on my YouTube, no I didn't, this is YouTube, I asked over on my Instagram whether you would be interested in a Q&A here on YouTube, and the majority of you said yes. And I asked you to send over your questions, so this is going to be my Q&A. I don't think it's going to be a getting to know me thing, because I think throughout all my videos you probably got to know me quite well. I tend to wear my heart on my sleeve. I tend to speak before my brain has realised what I'm about to say. So you'll have to excuse me if I keep looking at my phone, but that's where the Instagram bit is. So I'm just going to go, I've screenshot a load of them, and I'll try and say your names if you ask me the questions. Oh my god, oh no, just turn the phone off. Honestly, I'm such a technophobe. Just go to the bloody bit that you want, Emma. Right, okay, so they were the first one, so let me go. Okay, so first question I got asked was from Debbie Redhill, who I speak to quite a bit on Instagram, and I think Debbie lives over in Spain. So hi Debbie if you're watching. And she's put, how are you coping? I hope you're okay. Which I just thought was really, really sweet. How am I coping? We're all right, we're getting by. So it's very strange. I'm wearing PPE all day, not full PPE, just face mask, gloves and an apron. It's very hot. I can't imagine how it's going to be if we have to carry on wearing it through the summer months, which I'm sure we will. I can't see a time where in the hospital we don't have to wear them, and I feel really sorry for the patients at the minute, because obviously I'm a midwife and our patients now have to wear face masks as well, and their partners, and I feel so desperately sorry for them. Can you imagine if you've ever had a baby going through labour wearing a covering over your face? It's horrible, and I desperately feel for the women that have to do it, but we have to do it. And to be honest, I thought we would come up against a little bit more tension than we have with the patients, because we're not allowing their partners to come and visit them on the postnatal ward. We're sort of only just allowing the partners to come in for certain elements of their care antenatally, and you know, none of the women that I've looked after have kicked up a fuss. Everybody's been totally understanding about it. It's hard going to work because at home you're in your cocoon, you're in your little bubble, and then you go to work, and obviously I'm going to work in a hospital where all the COVID patients are, and it is quite scary, and I do have a bit of a wobble every now and then. I didn't think I was an anxious person until this, and I proved myself quite wrong, and I do get quite anxious. I don't get anxious going onto a day shift because I get up, I get ready and I go, but when I'm going on to night, it eats away at me all day. And I'm on nights tomorrow night, and I know that tomorrow I'm just going to be under a little gloomy cloud like Eeyore all day. I know I will. But to be fair, when I get to work, it's probably the only place where I can be, where I can actually be myself, as in I don't know how to explain it. When I'm at home, you can moan about stuff to do with work, but they don't understand because they don't know the circumstances. They can't visualise where you are because they've never set foot in where you work, and I think it's very difficult. But when you're at work, you know, all the people there all your colleagues and your patients, everybody's feeling exactly the same, everybody's going through the same emotions, everybody's getting anxious on the way to work, everybody's having a little cry every now and then. The sad thing about it all is that we can't give each other big hugs because we do have to socially distance at work, which is really, really difficult. And as much as we can, we do really try. It is very, very hard, and there have been a couple of, illegal hugs every now and again. I mean, my friend hugged me, and then she sent me a message after apologising for hugging me. I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to hug you. I was like, it's all right. It's quite scary. It's very close to home, and you just have to put your big girl pants on and get on with it, unfortunately. And delivering babies in a mask, well, the babies aren't wearing a mask. That would be freaky if they came out with masks on. Delivering babies while wearing a mask is very, very difficult, and I didn't realise how much you rely on your facial expressions sometimes. And you can't whisper in a mask because they can't understand what you're saying, because people do read your lips and get very much guided by what you're saying and the way that you're saying it and your facial expressions. And when you are wearing a mask, all you've got is your eyes, and there's lots of this going on when you're walking along the corridors and your colleagues are coming towards you. There's lots of eyes raising because you are smiling, but they can't see you, so you have to kind of raise your eyes so that they can see, because they literally can only see this much of you. So it's very, very different, lots and lots of changes, and I have felt extremely anxious going into work, but it's one of those things. It's the job that I chose. I desperately take my hat off to all of those people that are on the front line. We say we're on the front line, we are so not on the front line. We are so shielded from it where we are on maternity. How they wear full PPE on intensive care and A&E, and absolutely, such respect for those people, because I've had a mask fit and I had to wear it for like 20 minutes or something, and literally had marks in my face for about an hour afterwards. So wearing it constantly, I don't know how it would be. Anyway, so thanks, Debbie. That's that's the answer. Have you and your husband always agreed on parenting? And this is from Jill Sav 53. No. We parent very differently, and I think lockdown has been it's made us realise more than ever, really, because I would be quite happy to just let our daughter sort of sit and watch Disney Plus all day while I just tidy up and faff about and do nice things and bake, and he's the one kind of going, come on now, maths, come on now, you need to do this, you need to do that, and I'm like, don't tell him, he'll forget, but he doesn't forget. So we are quite different. He's more the strict one, I'm more the one who kind of lets him get away with everything, because I'm just a bit lazy and I can't really be bothered, and I can't be bothered with the arguing and the faff of it all. But most of the time we agree. I think you've got to agree, we've been married for 20 years. How many years have we been married? We've been married for 20 years, we've been together for 25. So, we sort of know how each other tick. But yeah, we have got very different parenting styles. He is the strict one, and I see in my children a lot of me and a lot of, if I don't mention that, then we won't have to do it, and if we just forget about that, whereas he's the one who's going, no, come on, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and oh right, okay then. So we are quite different in our parenting styles. And Jill Sapp also asked, what has been your biggest life challenge? Probably parenting. I think, I moved away from home when I was about 19. I moved from Stoke-on-Trent to Chester. Not because, I fell out with my parents or anything like that, just because I wanted to live in Chester. My best friend at the time had moved to Chester. She had space in her house. She was a student teacher, and I came and lived in their house with them. Came to Chester, thought it was the most cosmopolitan place I'd ever been to. You're talking I'm from Stoke. I had literally never been outside of Stoke, and to go to Chester as a sort of 18, 19-year-old, just totally mesmerised by it and just totally wanted to live there. I thought it was wonderful, and to have somebody that you knew that lived there. So went to Chester, so sort of moved away from home when I was quite relatively young, and was hairdressing, got myself a job, got myself somewhere to live. And then it was sort of 2 or 3 years on from that I actually met Phil, who I'm now married to. So then we got married, and then we had a baby, and then I started my midwifery training, and my midwifery training was hard, but not as hard as working full-time 60 miles away from home, and having nobody to look after your child, and husband that worked full-time. He worked back in Stoke, I worked in Stafford, we lived in Chester, we were near to Chester, we were travelling, swapping the kids over on the motorway, you know, motorway service stations. It was really, really hard. And I think probably that is the hardest challenge we faced is childcare when your parents aren't living near to you. My parents at the time, even if they'd lived down the road, they weren't retired. They are now, so great timing, thanks for that, parents. You know, they weren't retired at the time, so there was very, very limited days that they could have the children anyway. So we did manage it all by ourselves. We literally had to do it all by ourselves because we couldn't afford to put one child or 2 children into full-time nursery. It wouldn't have been worth us working. So yeah, I would say that is probably my biggest life challenge, has been what you're going to do with your kids when you're trying to work full-time. It's Fifi Franks has put, are you missing visiting charity shops? Oh my god, yes. In fact, I think a few people, yeah, are you missing charity shops? And then Homebird Makes has put, are you missing your charity shop trips? Yeah, I really, really am. I'm just missing sort of putting nice clothes on. I mean, today I've got dressed and put some makeup on, and it doesn't half make you feel better. And I think over the last week or so, I have definitely been making more of an effort in putting clothes and putting makeup on, because I am, you know, I'm 7 weeks in now, and I am so sick of my dressing gown and my pyjamas and my loungewear. And although I'm still trying to kind of wear comfy stuff, I'm definitely happier when I'm actually in some clothes. But yeah, I'm missing all kinds of shopping, but definitely charity shop shopping. And I think I've got a huge bag down there for the charity shop, because we've sorted out that many cupboards and drawers while we've been off. And I just can't wait for them to open, because I've got things that I need to take there, but then hasn't everybody, and I bet they'll be completely inundated. But as long as people who are a size 16 and shop in Jewels and White Company have had a good sort out and dropped a load of stuff off, then I'll be fine. Somebody has asked, Kat Harper has asked, where is the most amazing place you've been on holiday? Oh my god, that's a really, really difficult one for me, because if any of you who've watched any of my videos will know, I love Cornwall. Absolutely love St Ives. Want to have my ashes scattered on Portsmouth Beach. You know, so I just love it. And I haven't been abroad for oh my god, 14 years, 15 years. We have still got plans. Well, we haven't. We're supposed to be going to New York in August. That is not going to happen now. We're quite aware of that. That was the first time in 15 years we would have been abroad. I loved New York. We went from New York to Hawaii on our honeymoon. Hawaii was amazing, but would I go back? Probably not. Too commercial, far too commercial. I love Greece, and I think we went to Crete, and it was my first holiday abroad, and I was about 22. And we went to a place called, if you're Greek, I'm going to murder this now, I'm so sorry. I think it was Agios Nikolaos or something like that. And it was just the most perfect place I'd ever been to. And I think it really, really holds a really special place in my heart. It's where my husband first told me that he wanted to marry me. And it just, I think it was the first time I'd been abroad. I mean, looking back at the photographs, what was I thinking with my fashion? Horrific, but it holds some really happy memories for me. I'd been to Weight Watchers. I was the thinnest I'd ever been. I've got a photograph inside my sweets cupboard, like as a kind of reminder of what I could look like, and I just like look at it and then grab the Maltesers. there's more to life. But yeah, I think probably Crete is one of the most beautiful places I've been to, but I don't know whether that's because it holds just such lovely memories for me for other reasons other than it was beautiful. Yeah, so I hope that's okay. What else have I been asked? My son asked, who's your favourite child? Not you. Only kidding. Maria's Quirky Life. Hello Maria. She asked me what I was going to bake next. Now if you follow me on Instagram you will know that I've been baking crazy while I've been off on lockdown. And well, it isn't lockdown if you've not baked banana bread. So I baked banana bread this morning and it's really, really nice. I did a banana bread a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what recipe I used, but it was more like malt loaf in texture and it's a bit wet and we didn't really like it. This is a ye old Mary Berry recipe. Can't go wrong with a bit of beza. Absolutely gorgeous. I will link the recipe in the description box below for you. I've also made, and you have to be careful how you say this, fork biscuits this morning, and you also, I will link that recipe down below. They're so easy. They're 3 ingredients: sugar, flour, butter. Dead easy if eggs are hard to come by for you. My neighbour bought me some flour, which was so lovely of them, but then I had to bloody make them a cake to give them back. Which kind of defeated the object, but no, it was really, really sweet of them. They went, every time they drive past and say, do you want anything? And I keep saying, can I have some self-raising flour? And every time they go, they come back and they go, there was no self-raising flour. And then this particular time they got me 2 big bags, so I made them a cake to say thank you. So that was really kind of them. I love how everybody's been so kind, and there's just such lovely random acts of kindness that are happening all over the place, and I absolutely love that. How do you manage the juggle of shift work and family? And that is from Rach MK10. I don't know, does anybody really manage it? I think we all get by. I think we all just scrub it by the skin of our teeth, don't we? We get to Friday and go, oh my god, I don't know how I did that. I think it's a lot easier now. My husband works for himself, so he calls the shots. He isn't working at the minute because he's a freelance photographer. You know, who's going to get married during this time? Who's going to need photographs taken? Nobody. So fortunately, we're in a position where he's able to stay at home. I'm able to go to work. So it just makes it so much easier. I don't have to worry about the children being at home. I work 34.5 hours a week, which is 3 shifts a week. So my work-life balance is really nice because I'm at home more than I'm at work, even though some weeks the way my shifts fall, you do tend to get a bit of a glut of shifts all in one go, but you know, I do get quite a lot of time off, and I make sure that when I request my shifts, I request sort of, if I can, a good 4 or 5 day period off work, because I think you need it, because working back-to-back shifts, sort of 12, 13 hours by the time you're home, it's really, really hard, and it takes a lot out of you. And I think if you're doing that and then you're only having 1 day off and then you're back in again and then you're off again, I find I need to have the longer spells of time off, and that works for me. So, and I think that's the answer, and it's all about work-life balance, isn't it? And when I was full-time, and I know full-time is only 3 more hours a week, which is 1 more shift a month, but when that 1 more shift a month comes round and it's popped onto the end of what should have been 3 nights and it's now 4 nights, or 3 long days and it's now 4 long days, is a bit of a killer. So, and I found that I was slowly suffocating doing full-time, so dropping my hours to 34.5 was one of the best things I ever did. If I could drop them even further, I would, and if I could drop them completely, then that would be amazing. In fact, we did Euro Millions the other day, so I might not even need to go to work tomorrow night. What else have I been asked? What are your top 2 charity shop purchases? And that's from Happy Dales. It's quite a difficult one, that, because I've got so much that I absolutely love. I think one of my favourite charity shop purchases would probably have to be my white company dressing gown, because it was about £8, and it's the thing that I wear the most. I've never washed anything as much as I washed that. I just absolutely love it. It's a floor length pink velour hood, gorgeous. It was brand new almost when I bought it, and I'm just so thrilled with it. So that's probably one of the things. And oh my god, I think probably my Jules blazer, which is, if you watched any of my videos from last year, it's all I bloody wore. It's like pale blue linen with blue and white spotty lining, and it's got mustard inside when you turn it back on the lining of the sleeves. And I just found that I was wearing it with everything, and I absolutely loved it. And again, I think that was about £8. I picked that up in a charity shop, and that was almost brand new. And I got that out again the other day because it's been in a box and in the loft, and I pulled it out the other day and I was like, oh, I still love it. So I think probably those two things. I mean, I could sit here all day and wax lyrical about how amazing all the things are that I found in charity shops, but you know, that's not what this video is about. But yeah, definitely my dressing gown. What will you be looking for in the charity shops once they open again? To be honest, there isn't anything that I really need. The things that I have found that I am lacking during lockdown are sort of loungy clothes. Because you don't always want to wear pyjamas. I have one pair of leggings. I have a running pair of leggings and like a going out pair of leggings. And I definitely need another pair of sort of leggings. And I'd like quite an oversized sort of jumper for around the house maybe. I'm desperate for new slippers because since I've been in lockdown, obviously that's all I've been wearing, and I've been going outside in them a lot more than I would because the weather's been so nice, so we've been in and out a lot more. And I've obviously just been going out in my slippers. So they're getting a little bit worn on the bottom. I have had a tidy out of the downstairs cupboards, and I have thrown away so much. I am desperate for a frying pan because my frying pan bows at the bottom, so whenever I put anything in it, it all just runs into the middle. So if you do fried eggs, they will end up in a big glut in the middle of the frying pan. So every time I use the frying pan, I'm like, as soon as lockdown's over, I'm buying a frying pan. And teaspoons. Who knew? I've got no teaspoons. I've got about 5 teaspoons, and 4 of them are tiny little teaspoons. I've got one like normal, like proper sized teaspoon. So I need some teaspoons when lockdown's over. Yes, I could go to Asda or Home Bargain or somewhere and buy them. I don't really think it's a necessary journey. I don't want to do it. Angela's Loving Life has asked, would you ever really consider moving to Cornwall? Which I think is a brilliant question. And it's a question that I get asked all the time. And I think that the answer is probably no. Why? Why would I not go? Why would we not go? Firstly, the sort of property that we would be able to afford in Cornwall, we could probably fit the square footage of it into this bedroom. When we go on holiday and we stay in amazing sort of beachfront properties for a week, that's the sort of property I would want to live in, and no one is buying one of them anytime soon without a lot of money. And also, I don't know, I just think I don't want to live somewhere like that. I mean, I would want to live in St Ives. That is where I'd want to be. I'd want to live right in the centre, right on the beach. Completely impractical. I don't know what the schools are like. The nearest big hospital for me I have looked into this. The nearest big hospital for me would be Truro, which is probably about a 40-minute journey, if not a bit more. I don't want that kind of journey. I don't want, if I'm living down there, to still have to go to work, really. But if I did, I don't want that big a journey. If I moved down there, I would want to go lock, stock and barrel. I would want to go and not have to think about going to work. I would want to thoroughly enjoy it. I don't know whether that's possible. I don't know whether it's just a bit of a pipe dream, isn't it? I mean, you're on holiday in these places. What would it actually be like to live there? Would you go to the beach at the weekends? Would you do all the things that you do when you're there on holiday? Not the things that you're going to do every day, are they? So I don't know. Much as I love it, I think I need to leave it as my little piece of heaven when I go there on holiday. Because I just don't think practically, financially, it would be a place that we could ever afford, ever get a property that would be anything like the size that we've got now. So in short, I think my answer is probably no, we wouldn't move to Cornwall, much as I absolutely adore it, and my heart is, a little piece of my heart is there, definitely. But if we were to get a camper van or a holiday home, you just never know. What else? What would your dream job be if it wasn't midwife? This is Angela Loving Life again. Actress, without a doubt. And if my mum and dad are watching, they'll go, yeah, we knew she was going to say that. Definitely. If, you know, you know, there are people who just shy away from any sort of attention and would hate to watch themselves on TV, and you know, there's people who would never video themselves or just get really embarrassed or hate being centre of attention. I am their polar opposite. I love being the centre of attention. I love it when it's all about me. That, you know, I would love to have been an actress. I would love to be able to watch something and see me in it, even if it was just a little walk-on part in Doc Martin, which is obviously the dream. You know, I can do the accent. Go see the dark. I fully just offended everybody at Cornwall, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I would love to do something like that. I know I'm very long in the tooth now to start, but who knows? Yeah, so actress. So if there's any scouts out there, I'm your girl. I am really joking. Where do you get your artistic flair from? This is from Ned's mum. Do you know what? I have no idea. I'd love to say, oh, well, my mum's an artist. Yeah, but she's not. She went to Mother Care for 30 years. She is quite crafty. My mum does lots of knitting and sewing and cross stitch and stuff like that. So I suppose it's probably got to be my mum. It's got to be. And my mum's sister, she's always crocheted, and my nan crocheted and did cross stitch and knit, and so I think it's things like that where you just, you know, I was taught to crochet by my nan during school holidays when I was about 8 years old. I sat down during lockdown and tried to teach Emmy, who's 9. I wanted to like smack her around the head with a crochet hook because it's so frustrating. My nan must have had the patience of a saint. Yeah, so I think probably some of it is kind of your nurture. It would be nurture, wouldn't it? Yeah, because it's how I've been brought up in quite a, you know, my mum's always knit, always crocheted, you know, she's always done things like that. She always baked, she was always making pastry, and she used to make pastry, and she used to give me and my brother a big wad of warm pastry with butter on at about 4:30, and then shout at us when we didn't eat our tea at 5 o'clock. So yeah, I think it's probably from her and from years of just standing next to her in the kitchen while she baked and helping her bake and licking the bowl, and it's all that kind of thing, isn't it? It's just your experiences from childhood that obviously you just bring with you into adult life, and also just a want to do stuff, you know, sort of seeing things on Instagram or seeing things on Pinterest and kind of going, I could do that, and working out how to do it and finding out how to do it and ordering the right things so that you can do it and just having a go. I think that's the most important thing. Just I'm prepared to have a go at anything craft wise, you know, within reason, and usually when I have a go at it, I can usually do it. So I'm not lucky, I'll have a go. And what other questions have we got? Would you ever like to move to have your own private back garden? And that's from O.M. Hustleby. And that's a really good question as well. And again, this is something that we have toyed with. Those of you who have never watched any of my videos before, we own our property, but it's within its own grounds. We live in what used to be a National Children's Home, and it was all converted in the late 80s into houses and apartments, so we've got our own grounds. So we do have a piece of land outside. It's not ours, but you know it is because it's outside our house. That we've got a table and chairs on and a bench and things, and it's where we sort of, you know, sit outside in the summer. And we've got pots and whatever. But no, it's not a private garden. And during this lockdown time, both of us have kind of said it would be nice to have a bit of enclosed space that was just yours, because you know, if you're sitting out there like sunbathing or whatever, like when we've had afternoon tea outside and stuff, which we have a few times because we're posh, and the garden, not the gardeners, because obviously the gardeners walk past as well, but some of the residents walk past and everybody has to make a comment, and I just think if you're in your own back garden, nobody would actually see you, would they? So it has been something that we have talked about, but I just don't think financially we would be in a position to move. We've got about 6 years left on the mortgage here, and we're quite happy just to pay it and this be our house. And I don't want to be in a position where I'm moving and having to put loads of years back on a mortgage again, which we would have to do. And I don't know, I'm just, because we don't live on a street, it would be quite difficult to live somewhere where you've got people just walking past your window all the time and things like that, because they're things that for 20 years we haven't had. So I just think living somewhere like this, it has a lot of pros, but obviously it has cons as well. But for us, the pros outweigh the cons, I think. So next, who do we have? Would you, this is from Imogen Stevens, would you consider going back to Slimming World? Used to love them vlogs you did, made me laugh so much. Imogen? No. Slimming World made me crazy. I don't, it definitely has its place and it definitely works because I've done it and I've proved that it works. But I couldn't, absolutely just couldn't go back to it. It just was everything I thought about, it was everything I spoke about. I don't want to be in that position again. It made me really, really miserable. It made me miss out on so much during the few months that I did it last year. And it just sent me like a crazy woman. And I just think, you know, none of us are coming out of lockdown any lighter, are we? And I'll probably be eating my words in July, joining Slimming World again. My husband has actually said, I will not let you join Slimming World again, because, you know, I would be so annoyed if you told me that you were going back to Slimming World, just because of how it made me and how it doesn't just affect me, it affects everybody and it affects what we all can do. Because if I was doing Slimming World now, I wouldn't be baking with the kids and I wouldn't be, you know, having ice cream and afternoon tea and stuff. And I know it's not all about that, but a lot of it is about that, and there was so much that I missed out on with the children during just those few weeks of me doing it, because I was like, no, I can't do that because I've got weigh-in on Monday. And so no, I just don't think Slimming World, I do know that people have done Slimming World, and I do know that they're really successful with it, and I know that they managed to keep the weight off, but you have literally got to eat Slimming World food for the rest of your life, and I am not prepared to. And if it means me being a stone heavier than I was this time last year, then so be it, but I'm a hell of a lot happier. So no, I will not be going back to Slimming World. Lottie asked me the most memorable moment of being a midwife. Oh my god, there's just too many. There's too many to mention, because it's just one of those jobs where, you know, there's been a lot of memorable things that have happened because they've been absolutely bloody hilarious. There've been a lot of memorable things that have happened because they've been tragic, and there've been a lot of memorable things that have happened because they've been like joyous. And I think it'd be really hard to pin down one thing. One thing I will say is that one day I will sit down and I will write my memoirs for midwife, because there's just been so many moments where, you know, you have your faith restored in human nature, you have your faith restored in the human body, There have been moments where I've looked at people with like, I can't believe you just said that. There's been moments where I've cried with patients. There's been moments where I've laughed so hard with patients that my mascara's run down my face. And there's also, it's not just about the patients and the moments that happen with your patients, it's moments that happen with your colleagues as well. There is one time that really, really sticks in my mind when I worked in my old trust, and I was on shift with our shift leader called Kate, who was amazing. And we had a patient in who was having the baby was breech. Now, a lot of the time nowadays, doctors aren't prepared to allow women to deliver babies breech because it's a risk. It's really dangerous, and there's lots and lots of reasons why, you know, doctors don't want women to deliver breech, and there's lots of reasons why women should be allowed to deliver breech. And you know, it's very, very difficult, and and you could argue it all day long. This particular patient had delivered a breech baby before and wanted to deliver her baby breech this time. And the consultant was called in, and he just sort of stood outside and said, if you need me, I'll come in. And Kate and I were in there, and the doctor was in there with us, sort of the junior doctor. And this woman just delivered this baby breech, and it was probably the first time I'd seen such a gentle, such a lovely delivery of a baby in a breech position. And they always talk about hands off the breech, so you don't touch a breech baby, you don't want to stimulate it to breathe. So this baby was delivered and literally just sort of allowed to deliver beautifully. And when it was all over, like, I looked at Kate, and Kate was crying, and I was crying, and the woman was crying, and the doctor was crying. It was just like, oh my God, this woman's been allowed to deliver a baby breech, and it was just such a wonderful moment. And it's just times like that that you just kind of go, oh my God, it was just fantastic. And then, you know, it's just one of those moments that sticks with you, and that's probably like 10 years ago, and it was just so wonderful. So that's one of probably my most memorable moments, but I've got lots of hilariously funny moments, which I'll say for my memoirs. And Jilly D has asked, if you could go anywhere right now, where would it be? There's two places. I would go to St Ives and sit on the beach and look at the sea and eat fish and chips, and it would be gorgeous. And I'd go to my mum and dad's because I've not seen them for ages, and I've seen them on FaceTime, but it's not the same. So I would want to go to my mum and dad's house, and I'd want big hugs and not to have to worry about hugging them or touching things or whatever. So and when all this is over, and it will be over, I will be able to go to mum and dad's and hug them both again. And this is A Greener Way of Living, asked me, if you could be anyone in history, who would you be and why? Oh my God, I've got no idea. I think if I could be anybody in history, I honestly don't know how to answer that question. And I don't think I'd like to be anybody in history, but I think if there was a time that I could go back to, if teleportation and time travel was a thing, then I would love to go back to call the midwife times, you know, like the 30s and 40s, because I think knowing what we know now in medicine and in midwifery, but going back to then, to kind of times where things weren't medicalised, and just to live that lovely simple life, and to just watch women have babies and having faith in in their bodies that they could do it. And I just think to go back to that time and just catch a glimpse of what midwifery would have been like in those days. And I know a lot of tragedy happened, I know it did, but I don't want to think about that. But just to kind of I think we could all learn something from that sort of simpler time, and I think that so I wouldn't necessarily want to be a famous person from history, but I think if I could go back to a time, it would be to go back and work with those midwives and just be around them and learn from them and learn from these women and what they want. And you know, they just took such a holistic approach to their patients. It wasn't just about the woman, it was about her family, it's about the extended family, it was about caring for everybody. And whereas I think we're trying to get back to that, I think, very much so. We are definitely trying to get that back to that, but I do think we are very medicalised. You know, we've medicalised childbirth quite a lot over the last sort of 50 years. So yeah, I think, and you know, who wouldn't want to be on a bike with a cape? You know, as a midwife with a belt, I mean, that's my dream. Wearing the dresses with the cinched in waist. I mean, who wouldn't want to who wouldn't want to go back to that time? So anyway, that is my question and answers. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I will come back and do some more videos. I have no idea what they will be on. Excuse me. But yeah, I will link the recipes down below for the fork biscuits and the banana loaf. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment in the box below if you agreed with anything I said. Tell me what your favourite holiday destinations are. Tell me where the first place is that you're going to go after lockdown's over. And let me know if you do make the cake, and I will catch up with you really soon. I'll see you in my next video. So thank you so much for watching, and take lots of care. Lots of love. Bye.